This podcast eventually is just going to be me complaining about everything that has changed since I was a kid. Anyway, girl says I should know how to please her. Hey, Bill, been seeing this girl for a few months now. I'll skip to the nuts and beans of the story. During a conversation about sex, not during sex, I asked her a basic question about what she likes during sex. A conversation she initiated, I'll add. She got annoyed and said I should know what she likes during sex. I was speechless and the conversation changed. I spent days thinking about this. She's out of her mind, right? Yes. She is out of her mind. I don't think she's out of her mind. She might not be comfortable with saying, what she wants. But that I find that is, females have that thing, like, when they get mad at you, but you don't even know they're mad at you. And then they get mad because you don't notice that they're mad. And it's like, well, why didn't you say something? It's like, you didn't notice I was sitting there with, looking out the window? It's like, I thought you were looking out the window. Listen, here's something. You don't have to put up with that. You don't have to get in an argument with her. Okay? You don't have to be mean about it. I would just be like, I would, have the conversation again. Just I would revisit, just say, listen, I only brought that up, or you brought it up actually, but I'm just interested because I care about you and I want you to be enjoying having sex with me. But I don't know if you noticed, I don't work at a carnival as a mind reader, so don't say it like that. You know what I mean? I don't know how old you guys are. But that's, I don't know. I'm guessing she's more uncomfortable about talking about it. But if she's just but if that's her attitude in general, that you should just know and you should figure it out, she's this giant mystery and fascinating person, I can tell you that personally, that would get old quick for me. That's not an adult. An adult communicates and, like me, how good I am at communicating, screaming and yelling and having murderous fantasies, I should say. All right, deleted all my apps. Hey, Bill, I deleted all the social media apps off my phone. I only use it for email, phone, and text. It's a different world, Bill. I still use it for music, but no YouTube. That's amazing. My job doesn't require me to get more than 5 or 6 emails a month, so I don't need to monitor that as well. I'm 2 months sober. I'm sharing this because you've talked about how addicted they are. Have you tried this? One of the tricks is to always have a book with you. I've read 3 books since the start of October. If I go to reach for my phone, I reach for the book. It becomes an addictive escape. Well, Jesus Christ. A light at the end of the tunnel. That was amazing. Well, if I wasn't in the business that I'm in, I wouldn't be on social media. I think I would still be on YouTube, and then I'm on every streaming platform to watch movies. I'm sort of addicted. I like watching movies about cars or that have cool cars in them, old police cars and like that. And, that's the genre that I like. I like watching movies from the 1960s and 70s, and I just like looking at the cars and, the clothes and the music and the style and all of that. I don't know why, but that never get old to me. There's a few things that I follow of they'll show someone will have video of the 101 highway in the 70s, and I just look at all the cars and I try to name all of them, and then I get fascinated too with the mix of cars, where we try to do that on F is for Family, where I was just okay, this takes place in the early 70s. In the early 70s, every car wasn't from the early 70s, because that would mean everybody had the money to buy a new car that year. That's not how it worked. People drove new cars all the way to cars like 10 years old. People that were in high school in the early 70s maybe even drove a car from the 1950s, which wasn't considered a classic. It was just considered an out-of-style car. Which is funny because I follow this thing on Instagram that it's like some like old school muscle cars or something. And it's all like these Polaroid pictures of guys with their modified muscle cars from the 60s that did them in the 70s, back when they would jack up the back end and put the slicks on the back, more rubber on the road, more traction or whatever. Like they would take them down the drag strip, and everything that they were doing to those cars was lessening the value of them, which was hilarious because to them, they were just cars that were 7 and 8 years old. Now they're like classics. So I find that like fascinating. Like, what's his face? James Taylor and Dennis Wilson, the drummer for the Beach Boys, did a movie called Two-Lane Blacktop or something like that. And what was funny was they were going from town to town, and how they were making their money was they were having drag races with people. And the car that they drove around in, I believe, was a 55 Chevy Bel Air. And it was just like primer body, everything just pulled out of it. It's a race car, so they don't want to have any extra weight in it. Did have a passenger seat in it or whatever. But like, I was looking at that thing going like, these guys are just like beating the out of that car, pulled out the original engine, stuck something else in there. And if they had just left that car all original and hung on to it for a little while, they could have made way more money than they were in that movie, as those characters drag racing the car. So I find all of that like fascinating. I like being on like that part of the internet. But I kind of have to be on social media because of the business I'm in. But I think that's great that you're reading like books and stuff like that. That's why I'm kind of like, I've been taking these drum lessons. I'm going to take these French lessons too, because I'm trying to combat, because I'm 100% addicted to my phone and staring at it. And like, I'll be out with my wife and she'll be like, all right, no phones in the meal. And I just feel myself like, just like not even thinking and just grabbing for my phone. So, I think that's great that you're doing that, and that's something to aspire to be reading more.